Hi, check two. Hi, everybody. How you doing? My name is Tom Kroom, and this is my first time in Poland ever, and I speak no Polish. Thank you. And I speak this much English. So I'm very happy. I came out here to showcase with you a very talented man. He's a voice actor and a voice of a very popular internet show. Is anybody here watch Honest Trailers on YouTube? Anybody? Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Honest Trailers, Mr. John Bailey. Give him a round of applause. And I think we're going to watch the most recent Honest trailer. Maybe. Hit it. There we go.
This spring in Poznan, a city located far in Eastern Europe. Wait, what? Really? You said where? Well, let's start from the beginning. This spring in Poznan, a city located in Central Europe, there will be a convention that overshadows with its momentum and size all the other ones in Poland. A country where apparently polar bears do not walk in the streets. Pyrkon. Organized since 2000 by people in purple t-shirts, which are helped by people in orange t-shirts. For 3 days, these guys provide great fun to people dressed apparently in everything else. Fans of Mass Effect, Star Wars, Star Trek, The Witcher, Game of Thrones, League of Legends, Marvel, DC, and many, many others storm each year into Poznan, making the inhabitants nervous with their appearance while doing morning shopping in nearby grocery stores. Seriously, there is something to be afraid of, because the number of participants is increasing every year, and last year, there were over 44,000, which is more than the number of people in Polish cities, such as Śląsk, Sashishu, Traunanyo, Swininshusi, and Dziernianyo. Do not make me say Sherbesichin. Let's just say it's about 1/3 of the San Diego Comic-Con participants, okay? It is important that all these people have a reason to come, because Pyrkon is a convention that has been attracting famous people from around the world for many years, including me, Epic Voice Guy, and Felicia Day, Graham Masterson, Orson Scott Card, and dozens of other popular writers and actors. Nay, let's be honest, who would care about them while having the opportunity to meet me? Come and discover amazing attractions such as a hall full of people pretending to be asleep while they actually do absolutely everything to spend as little time with their eyes closed. Lectures during which you can learn a lot of useful things about vampires, Korean music, and pizza. A huge cosplay competition during which the participants often occupy most of the stage, not because the organizers prepared too less space, but because the costumes are so enormous. A whole ocean of stands selling everything that you did not know exists, but after seeing it, you discover that it is something you desperately need because of reasons. Games Room, where you can finally play all the games you have always wanted and which discourage you from playing because of overly complicated rules. Why? Because here you will always find someone who will explain to you how you should play. Pyrkon. Did you know that the name of this fantasy fan convention comes from the word pyra, which in Greater Polish dialect means potato? This vegetable is the first plant that has ever been grown in space.
I have no idea if any of that was true or not.
So hi, does anybody have any questions for John before I start asking him questions for no reason? Oh, all the way in the back.
Where's the guy in the orange t-shirt? There he is.
A guy in a purple t-shirt will do.
So, hey.
Hi.
I must ask, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
This is going to be a really easy panel. And now you have to run way over there. That guy.
One thing, can you say boobs?
Actually, it's a misconception. It's an EW sound, so it's boobs. And I would like to go ahead and pre-apologize for anybody who's offended by that in any way. I don't want to get any letters or angry people getting mad at me. And that's it. All right, thanks for coming.
Hi, you voiced Optimus Prime on one Transformers voice. I ask, how would sound your impression of Megatron or Starscream?
Oh, that's an easy one. I've been doing that voice since I was 4 years old, so I don't know. It'd be like,
Starscream, what are we doing here in Poland? There's no energon here.
But sire, there's Pyrkon. All those humans could be our slaves.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you. I just want to ask, how are your feelings to, you said this is your first time in Poland, so how do you think about our country? And how the hell do you still survive? You speak no Polish, and that is just amazing.
I didn't quite catch all that because it was kind of quiet.
How do you like Poland so far, since it's your first time here?
The sausage is great.
And you don't look Polish.
I don't know if I'm Polish or not. I'm kind of a mutt. I have no idea, and I'm not going to spend all that money trying to pay those DNA guys to figure out where I came from. I'm cool with who I am.
When did you first realize you have amazing voice?
I was actually going to answer that from you. I figured that was going to eventually come, but I didn't know it was an amazing voice. It was just kind of something I did to impress people at parties, and when I was dating my wife before we got married, it was kind of a way to make her family laugh, get on their good side. I started doing impressions when I was 4 years old with Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, and then from there I moved on to cartoons like Transformers and Voltron and just whatever. I never knew it was going to be a job, and I did sketches, like, little skits in college for people. They'd come up with an idea, and they're like, can you do some voices? I worked in puppets in our church, just a little bit of everything. And one day, back when MySpace was a thing, my wife made me a page. I was like, social media is stupid. That's never going to last. I'm so glad I didn't invest in Facebook. So she made me a page, and then a pop-up ad came up looking for voice actors in our area, which I didn't know that existed. We lived in Memphis, Tennessee at the time, and it's known for music, and it's known for barbecue, and lots of crime, and I'm not interested in any of those things. And she's like, look, they said that they represent talent. They have a location in Memphis. I'm like, come on, this is stupid. She's like, well, the worst they can do is say no. What do you got to lose? And I'm like, that's a really good point. Why not? So I went down and tried it out, and I remember when they first had me come in, they were just like, just do a little bit of whatever you can do, and for about a minute. And it was November, so I did the poem The Night Before Christmas, but every line I did a different voice, and I started off with the movie trailer voice.
Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
And I remember seeing the guy through the glass, just his jaw was like, because you hear my normal voice doesn't sound anything like that. And he's like, can you come back? I think we might have some stuff for you to do. And I drove a forklift. I don't know what they call that in Poland, but it's basically a heavy machine operator for warehouses at the time. And so I booked maybe one job a month. It was all part-time stuff, really small, low budget. And I was like, man, I'm doing awful. Don't you have to book like every single day to make a career out of voice acting? And the producer was like, you don't understand. We have had people here that have been with us for 5 years and never booked one single job. You're doing awesome. So when the economy crashed, this was around 2012, I went full-time into voiceover, just crossing my fingers and just hoping and praying that things will work out. And right around my year anniversary with that studio, my first manager in Los Angeles made movie trailers for a living. His company just did movie trailers, and he found me on YouTube, of all places. And I did a video called, I think I called it the Movie Trailer Men or something like that. I was stuck in traffic. And I just did a whole bunch of different movies, because there's more than one movie trailer guy. There's a lot more than just one epic voice. There's quite a few. The two of them have already passed away. Don LaFontaine was probably the most iconic. He actually came up with the phrase, in a world. He was the one who did Terminator 2, Judgment Day. He's that big, deep, great, But then there was also the guy who did, more family-friendly stuff like The Odd Life of Timothy Green. There was that guy, and then there was, and the most popular today, his name is Ashton Smith, and you could recognize his voice because he goes down at the end of every sentence. So everything he says goes down at the end. So I just did my impression of like 5 or 6 of those guys, and he found it on YouTube after Don LaFontaine had passed away. He's like, I wonder if somebody else can do that. And he found me. He's like, I think you got a lot of raw talent. Maybe we can work with you. So I started booking movie trailers, and then, and luckily, because we were broke and didn't have any other job at the time, and then from the same exact video, the guy who originally made Honest Trailers was like, I saw on your website that you do real movie trailers. We did this thing called Honest Trailers. Have you ever heard of it? I'm like, no. He's like, well, here, check this out. And I watched it. I was like, well, the writing's really good. You could tell the guy that did the voice had not done it professionally. He was just trying really hard to sound like that and just didn't quite sound like a movie voice. And so I recorded, I remember the biggest complaint we had from the first one I did was Lord of the Rings. The biggest complaint we got in the comments was it sounded too good. They said, it sounds too much like a real movie trailer. I'm like, oh, they want me to make fun of myself. Okay, now I got it. So from that point on, it just kind of worked, and we all worked together really well. And then, in the meantime, in my professional career, I was booking commercials and started booking video game stuff. And yeah, that's my whole story from beginning to end. So hopefully that answers your question. Oh yeah, and I moved to Los Angeles last July and doing even better now. So. And I'm currently filling in for Ryan Reynolds for Detective Pikachu right now. So that's going to be fun. Back at in the back.
Orange guy, get to work.
Oh, there's somebody else. I didn't see she had a microphone. Go ahead.
So, do you know maybe any Polish swear words already? Have you?
No, I'm afraid. I haven't even been in town long enough to hear anything Polish that I would recognize.
So would you like to
I've been
try
watching Dora the
saying
Explorer
one?
and Smurfs in Polish, so I didn't catch anything yet.
Yeah, you may try. Niech to licho.
Niech to licho.
I have no idea if that's right or not. Now, I have no idea what I just said, so hopefully I didn't offend anybody.
Her mic isn't working.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi.
I've got a question. So when you record for Honest Trailers, how many takes do you take until you get that perfect one that you use for the video?
I'm do pretty good at my job. One of my least complained about things from clients is like, wow, you get that done really fast. I have 4 games that I'm working on that are coming out later this year that I can't talk about yet. But every single client said the same. They booked me for 4 hours and we were done in 45 minutes. They're like, wow, you're quick. So when it comes to Honest Trailers, especially now that I've been with them for a few years, it goes by really fast. Usually we can do an entire one in about 15 minutes. The average Honest Trailer is about 7 pages long. The Honest Game trailers are a little bit shorter. Usually it's about 5.5 pages. I usually just do 2 full takes of each page, and if they have anything that they, like go back and do 1 line, and that's pretty much it. So it's not like, I have to do it over and over and over and over again. I did about 200 movie trailers before Honest Trailers even found me. So I'd had a lot of, in fact, I'm the one that was like, look guys, we can't say strap in every time. Let's find some, like buckle up. It's like, there's a lot of other options besides just that one phrase. Let's find some other stuff. So they were like, well, you work in trailers. Maybe you can help us come up with like lines that work in. I was like, suit up, buckle up, strap in, lock down. I mean, you can go, they're like, oh yeah, now we, okay, so yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. You're welcome.
Hi. Could I ask for Batman voice?
A Batman voice?
Yes.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
That's Kevin Conroy's Batman. It depends on which Batman you want to hear.
There's the Adam West Batman, and then there's this Batman, which is everybody's favorite. Where is this trigger? Where is it?
But you have to take your face and smush it.
Where is it, Bang?
I'm gonna let you pick. I'll get in trouble if I pick somebody.
Hey, what was your favorite video game that you voiced and the character from that video game? And and the second part is what was the favorite? What was your favorite animated series and your favorite character from that series that you would like to voice perhaps one day, or you already did?
Okay, let me try to address the first. What was the first part of the question again? What was the 5th part of the question? Okay, just kidding. Favorite video game that I've worked on? That's a tough one because right now Dishonored 2 just came out recently, and I'm 1 Valkyrie away from being done with God of War 4, which I did 3 characters in that. I would have to say God of War 4 most recently because it's just a great freaking game. But I guess XCOM's got to be my all-time favorite because that was the one that kind of gave me my big break in video games. and it was based on one of my favorite characters of all time, which is Optimus Prime. And I didn't have to audition for the job. They actually, 2K Games came to me. They'd found me on YouTube, again on YouTube. So don't discount YouTube if you want to be a voice actor, because I've gotten a lot of work from YouTube. He was like, I don't want to go through all the auditions. I don't want to go through all the red tape and audition fight, because I heard what I wanted to hear in your YouTube video. He said, if we can just make him a less heroic, make him sound more robotic, because we want to keep the gamers guessing, is this guy a robot? Is he human controlled by aliens? Is he an alien disguise? We don't want anybody to be able to figure it out. And he has a very distinctive speech pattern, Commander. You know, so they really liked that, and that voice has gotten in every single game. So we've done three or four XCOM games. I know it says XCOM and XCOM 2, but there was XCOM Enemy Unknown, and then was Enemy Within, and then XCOM 2, and then there was like 2 different DLCs. So technically it's like 5 games so far. So that was definitely my favorite. The other one would be the original Transformers cartoon. And a lot of people think that just because I do Optimus Prime's voice for Hasbro now and for Combiner Wars, that Optimus Prime was my favorite character. He was one of my favorite characters, but Shockwave was always my favorite character. Shockwave in the comic books, if anybody's old enough to even remember the original Marvel comics, Shockwave was the only one that beat Optimus Prime and Megatron, and he's disabled. He only has 1 eye and 1 arm. I mean, and he's my favorite color. You can't help but root for that guy.
Hello again. I want to know.
Hi, Jan.
Hi, John. Well.
It's Jan Bailey.
Okay, that's very close. But what do you do to preserve and/or practice your voice?
Well, it's kind of hard to preserve it. I can't shout at things, so I can't go to football games or to concerts. I just have to go. So that way I don't blow my voice out. I can't go to particularly loud places like restaurants or bars where I have to project over people, because the more you do that, the more vocal. You have to understand that your vocal cords are like giant rubber bands, and the more you use them, the more floppy they get. And if they won't work well, if they're loose, they have to be tight. So you just have to protect yourself, get a lot of voice rest. You have to not and it's for video games especially, it's really hard. I did one recently for a game that's coming out later this year, and I can't tell you what it is. Is this being broadcast or is this being recorded privately only? I mean, I don't want to give away any NDA stuff. I was going to say the company name, but that might even give it away because they don't make that many games. Anyways, but when they sent me the audition, or they sent me a booking, and I didn't even audition for it. And I had no idea. I was like, how did I even get this job? I didn't even audition. And there was no script. I'm like, what do you mean there's no script? How are we supposed to record something without a script? All they did was give me the character's species, which wasn't even a real species. I'm like, how is this going to help me? So when I finally got to the studio, they're like, did they explain to you how you got the job? I'm like, no. He's like, well, you recorded something for us in 2011. This just happened last month. I was like, 2011? That was like 7 years ago. He's like, well, we heard something in your thing that you recorded. I didn't even have an agency at the time. I still don't know how they got that. They said, anything we hear that we like, we put it on file, and we archive all these. So we have tons and tons of all these voices. So in case something ever comes up, we pull up a voice actor and be like, this guy'd be great for that. And it was all creature effects. And I always get nervous when it's creature effects because it can destroy your voice. So if you're ever a big, a guard, a warrior, because you don't just do attacking. You're not. You're also, you have to die and attack, and sometimes you have to do war cries, or you have to do, death screeches, the Wilhelm screech. You have to do that. You could be dead. Your voice could be gone after just like 30 minutes of that, and it's like so brutal. And like I said, I was so happy because we were done in 25 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I still have my voice. So yeah, if you have, I try to book those things on the weekend, so I still have a few days to recover in case I do lose my voice. Honey lemon tea helps. Like I said, don't do anything vocally stressful if you can help it. Zinc, the mineral zinc is actually really helpful. Just take a tablet a day. That actually helps your body self-repair while you're going forward. And there's this one thing that I cannot for my life pronounce. It's a Japanese concoction that tastes like garbage. It's like thick syrup that you can take. It's like Bingkong Zhou Jacques or something. And some studios actually have some in the studio, but when you try to spoon it, it's just like tar. You spoon it and it's just like, you're just like, do I put this in my mouth and swallow this? But it does really help. It helps keep your vocal cords tight, and it kind of coats it to protect it from getting hurt. But the one thing I would recommend against, there's something called throat coat that some voice actors claim is like, oh, it's a miracle cure. it numbs your voice, so you don't feel any pain, but you're actually doing more damage, and you just don't feel it. You will eventually, when that stuff wears off, you'll feel the pain then. So I always recommend don't use that stuff if you can help it. Hopefully that answers your question. No problem.
Hi, John.
Hi.
So for the most recent trailer that we've seen, how did you learn, and how long did it take to learn to pronounce all those Polish town names, like Dzierżoniów, Szczebrzeszyn?
They told me, they said they thought it would be funnier if I just tried it on my own. So I was saying Poznan wrong the entire time, and nobody told me any better. So when I got on the plane, they was like, I'm going to Poznan. They're like, you mean Poznan? I'm like, oh, I didn't, nobody told me. So yeah, they did not even try to give me a pronunciation. They just said, just do it. It'll be funnier if you just try it yourself. Thank you for that pity applause. I appreciate it. That's the wrong end of the microphone. He's like.
But in the end, they told you how it should be pronounced, or
no? No, they never did.
Oh.
Well, that was a quick question. All right. Yeah, get somebody from that side. You just keep hogging all the.
All the way in the back.
Even if there's nobody back there, I just kind of want to make this guy run. He's like the Flash, moving very slowly.
Hi. Do you use your epic voice like in your everyday life just to mess with random people?
My wife won't let me.
Like, do you?
She says it's super annoying when I rehearse out loud. Because used to when I either have an audition or a booking coming up and I knew what I was going to do, I would just talk that way all day long. I don't know. Does anybody know who Sam Elliott is? He's a famous like cowboy American actor.
He always does those Chevrolet commercials about the Dodge Ram,
you know. And he's got that big, you know, so I would just
spend the whole day talking like this.
And she's like, can you not do that in your head? I'm like, if people could do it in their heads, then everybody could be a voice actor. I need to be able to do it out loud. So yeah, she got really, but every once in a while, if especially if she's kind of grumpy, I'll do it at a drive-through just to mess with the people inside and just to make her laugh. And one of her favorite voices that she hates that I can do so well is Matthew McConaughey, because she loves Matthew McConaughey. So anytime, you know, I just get in that mood, you know what I mean? Just take out this shirt and show off these abs. All right. And I actually had to do a sound-alike for Matthew McConaughey about 4 months ago, and I said, and the client was on the phone. Sometimes they just have us redo it on our own. Sometimes they're actually there in the phone. And they said, can you do a Matthew McConaughey for us? I'm like, well, which one? They're like, what do you mean, which one? I was like, well, you know, there's the previous Matthew McConaughey. You know, he's like, the old version. He was just like, hey, guys, what's going on? All right. And then all of a sudden he wins an Oscar, and then everything sounds like this. And they're like, well, we didn't even realize that he changed his voice.
Explain sound matching to them, like when you cover for celebrities.
So a lot of times when, especially a big celebrity, they need to do the voice for a trailer or even in the movie sometimes, they're either not unavailable, or they don't have the hardware, or they don't have the time to come to a studio to do it, or they don't have it in their contract and they have to be paid a lot of money to do their own voice. So they'll have somebody like me come in and fill in for them, and either they'll keep my voice in or they'll eventually get the actor to replace it. And sometimes some actors are cool about it. Like I've seen Chris Hemsworth. I've seen, if anybody seen the video of Hugh Jackman doing the Wolverine, the audio for the Logan movie, it's so cool to watch him do it because he actually physically gets it. So some of them are really cool about doing it themselves. Sometimes it's included in their contracts, but sometimes they're just like, I filled in for Russell Crowe for The Mummy, so at least something good came out of The Mummy. I got paid, so, but I heard Universal actually had me come to Universal Studios, and which was awesome because I happened to just be right around the corner. And so I was like, was he here? They're like, yeah, he stood in the exact same spot you were. He's like, he was the biggest diva. He said he came in and was like, the way I'm going to record is the way it's going to be done. That's going to be it. And I was like, whoa. He's like, we got more work out of you in 15 minutes than it took for us an hour. He just only wanted to do it his way. So it's also easier for them to work with somebody like me than somebody who knows he's a big, you know, Academy Award winning, Oscar winning, whatever. So yeah, a lot of my work now is just filling in for other people. Like I said earlier, I'm filling in for Ryan Reynolds right now for Detective Pikachu, which is so bizarre and funny. Because Ryan Reynolds thinks he can do my voice, which is hilarious. Because it's so bad when Ryan Reynolds tries to do the movie voice. But if he just stick to his own job and let me do it, I'd be fine. So, no big deal. Thank you very much. Deadpool 2 out in theaters now. I don't see orange guy. Oh, there you go.
Hello, hi John. I'm from Sci-Fi, the TV channel. I'm looking forward to the next Sharknado 6 review. I'm not sure if you're going to do that.
The which one?
Sharknado 6.
Oh, Sharknado 6. I actually have a funny story about Sharknado if you want to hear it.
Sure.
So for Sharknado, I did a sizzle reel, which a sizzle reel is when they're pitching the idea to the studio. So they do like a couple of pages describing what they're planning on doing to give to the studios. So this is what we want to do, but they'll hire somebody like me to make it sound cooler, you know. So they actually had already planned Sharknado 4 and 5, even though 4 hadn't even come out yet. They were like, in fact, I remember something in the script to the effect of, "We're so confident that 4 is going to do so well. We've already planned for Sharknado 5." And then Sci-Fi actually contacted me after the sizzle reel and wanted me to do the trailers for the Sci-Fi channel for the Sharknado 4 when it came out. And then they found out how much I cost. And they said, after they already booked me, they said, "Thanks, but no thanks." So screw you, Sharknado. But I do have a great friend. Anybody is a Resident Evil fan in here? Resident Evil fan? Wow, oh, that's awful. My buddy DC Douglas is the voice of Wesker in Resident Evil, and he's also in the Sharknado 2. He's one of the guys in the sewer that we never see a body, so he could still be alive. We don't know. He does a lot of movies like that. He's in iZombie, Z Nation, and a couple other things. But yeah, he's a really great guy. But more of you need to play Resident Evil, all right? Because now I can't tell him the story about how everybody's like, "Oh, I love Wesker." No, I'm like, nope, nobody heard of you.
A question that's been on my mind. Your channel is titled Honest Trailers.
No, that's not my channel.
Well, that's not your channel. I mean, you do that things. And what, in your opinion, is the most dishonest trailer?
The most dishonest trailer? That's a good question. We don't always see eye to eye when it comes to what they write and what I record, especially on our personal opinions of the movie. I feel like they're way too harsh on DC and they're way too nice to Marvel. You can just kind of tell by the way they write it that they're super Marvel fanboys, and I was a DC fan before I was a Marvel fan. So my first introduction to Marvel, other than the original Transformers Marvel comic books way back in the day before other comic companies owned the comic, was Iron Man 1, and it blew me away about how good it was and how grounded it was, and it almost made it believe like this could really happen. That was kind of like a great way to start the MCU, was that first Iron Man movie. But then when they started like they bashed on Killing Joke really hard. And I have friends that worked on Killing Joke. And I was like, I actually had to personally apologize in private messages to my friends who did the voices. And I was like, these do not express, like, the views of Honest Trailers do not necessarily reflect those of John Bailey. So that way I wouldn't get in trouble with work. And especially when I actually had worked for a studio. Like I did a lot of trailers for Breaking Bad back in the day. Every time they came out with the season on Blu-ray DVD, I was the voice that you would hear. In fact, I did 2 spots that played during the series finale. So I was like, you know how many people heard me just now? And then they're like, "Oh, we're doing a Breaking Bad on Australia." I was like, if you guys get me fired, I'm gonna be so mad at you. So I always tell them like, and then sometimes, especially with the games, because now I'm doing a lot more games, I always let them know up front when they book me. It's like, okay, I have a contract with Honest Trailers. They're going to make fun of your game eventually, probably, if it's a big title. Just make sure that you're cool with it. And then most of them are really cool with it, but 2K Games, not so much. 2K Games wants us to actually send the script to them ahead of time so they can make sure that we're just doing this lighthearted, because I almost got fired when they made fun of XCOM. And I know the guy at that 2K Games that hired me likes me, and he's actually a fan of Honest Trailers too, and he thought, oh, it'd be great, not to mention it's great publicity for the game, because a lot of people start playing the games after watching the Honest Trailer, like, oh, I've got to play this game now. And the HR department was really mad. They were like, this guy's breaking his non-disclosure agreement by making fun of our game. And I'm like, no, I was under contract. I don't have much of a choice. And he's like, look, I went to bat for you. I was like, look, they didn't do it in a mean way. They did it in a funny way. And if anything, it got more people to play the game. So they went back and they're like, okay, then we watched it again, everything's fine. But now I'm a little nervous, so I have them send the scripts to 2K to approve, which is going to be rough because I'm working on 2 more 2K games coming out that I just booked recently. So I'm just, I'm very nervous about that particular one. Most studios, though, movie studios, I really don't care so much because, I mean, it's not like they're going to hire me to be in a Marvel movie or anything, so I'm not really worried about it. But I do kind of worry that if I make fun of something, that might hurt my chances. But I'm really surprised. I actually did a Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, the actual Guardians of the Galaxy trailer when it came out on Blu-ray. So I think most of them are pretty cool with it. They like, it's just a roast. It's just a joke. We're just kind of poking fun at them. And we always tell what we like and don't like. But One really good example of this is Godzilla. I did not like Godzilla. I thought it was unfair to only show us this much until the very, very, very end. And there was so many things that they did in threes. There's 3 different times where they show a general on the phone. There's 3 different times where they show people with giant flashlights looking around. They show the same. It's the same scene. It's just different people and different. But like, we already saw this before. And then you see all the monsters fighting on small screens in the background throughout the entire movie. You never actually see them doing anything, and that just irked me. And all of them, the writers, loved Godzilla. But when the Honest trailer came out, they said the same things that I was thinking. So they were being fair. So I would say that they are very, very accurate. So it's hard for me to say which one's the most dishonest. That's really hard to say. I wouldn't know. And sometimes there's so many movies, guys. There's no time I have no way of watching all of them. So that if they were dishonest about a movie, there is a chance that I probably wouldn't even know. I hope that answers your question. Probably not.
Hello there. I wanted to ask which of all the Honest trailers was the hardest to produce?
The hardest to record, you mean? Because I don't produce.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I don't think. Well, I take that back. We did a swap for. I guess it was April Fool's Day. I can't remember now, but we swapped out with CinemaSins for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I'll never forget that one. That was brutal. I was in Anaheim, California at the time for a conference. It was a voiceover. It wasn't like a pop culture convention. It was a voiceover conference where voice actors come to learn more about the industry, and they had me as a guest. And if you don't know, Anaheim is a good 2-hour drive away from Los Angeles. And they wanted me to come record this script for them. So I had to pay $100 US just to get there, which is a lot for me for a ride both ways. So that's $200 per trip. And the script was 18 pages long. 18 pages is a lot of script. It's almost 3 times what they normally are. And they didn't pay me any extra for it. And it was like, and then they had me come back. They had some issues, and they needed me to come back and record more. And I'm like, guys, really, it's 4 hours of driving, and it's going to cost $200 US just to get there and back for this. And then when I said, can we, like, because back then I didn't have a contract. I was getting paid per honest trailer. It was only a few $100. And I was like, could I get a little more? Like, what do you need more money? I'm like, because it was like 30 pages. Like, come on. But yeah, the CinemaSins version, the script was way, 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 way longer. So yeah, I would definitely say that was one of the hardest because it was just so much. But as far as just like, you know, difficulty recording, the only time I don't usually get tickled easily. Like, I don't break character when I'm recording. But usually I get a chance to read the script beforehand. Like, even if it's just a few minutes before they actually record, they'll send it to me, you know, 30 minutes or an hour so I can just read through the script some. When we did the first 50 Shades movie, I did not get a chance to, yeah, people are already laughing. I didn't get a chance to read through it first, and I don't know if they actually talked about this, because they don't invite me to come on honest commentaries ever. But when I first read through it, and we got where she didn't know what a butt plug was, like, my kids probably know what a butt plug is. It's a plug for your butt. I mean, that's what they said in the honest trailer. But then they switched, and they're like, speaking of buttholes, Christian Grey, and that for some reason, when they said speaking of buttholes, I laughed so hard, I could not get it under control. Every time I tried to say speaking of buttholes, I just kept getting tickled. I was like, okay, you're just going to give me a second, because I did not see that coming. So that was the only time that was really hard to just kind of get through the script. But Amazing Spider-Man 2 was definitely like tough because it was long, and I was busy, and I had to drive back and forth like so much to record it. So yeah.
This is John's first international convention, and he came all the way to Poland to tell a story to use the word butt plug.
It was in my contract to actually have to say butt plug at least 5 times. No, this is actually my first time out of the U.S., period. So, yeah, thanks for making me have such a great time. Appreciate it. I see an orange glove way back there. Oh, you already got somebody. Okay. Sorry, orange glove.
Hello.
Yellow glove.
Yeah. I have a question.
I assumed you had a question because you got the
microphone. Did you ever use your special voice in a pickup line? And if yes, please quote it.
No, I never really did. I'm a really conservative guy, old school. You know, I am being honest. I was raised very conservatively, and I was so sheltered, I didn't even know what a pickup line was. You know, I was raised to open the door for ladies. You know, you stand whenever they get up from the table. I was raised like, you know, you treat women with a lot of respect. So I didn't really know what a pickup line was, and I wouldn't know how to use one if I did. But now that I've been married almost 18 years, if my wife's ever in a foul mood, I have a particular voice that I say really naughty things to her to get her to laugh, like, hey, baby, what you doing?
Got that nice booty? Uh-huh. Wanna smack that booty?
I guess the microphone didn't like me for saying that. But the of the few pickup lines that I do know, I guess I could do one for you. So, what's the one with the he doesn't know any pickup lines either, guys.
I've been with my wife 10 years together, 18 years. He's been married 18 years. So when we were doing pickup lines, that was a long time ago. That said, I did want to point out how John explained how conservative he is and his background and how conservative it is, but he still brought up a butt plug in the panel.
I read what they write. I'm under contract. I don't have no way around it. I think it's something to the effect of,
that must be jelly, because jam don't shake like that.
Something to that. No. Oh.
Are your legs tired? Because you've been running through my mind all day.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to ask one thing. Have you any advice for people who want to start voice acting?
That's a long question. I'm afraid it would take up the rest of the panel, but the short version would be internet. You can look up anything on the internet. There's this great site called Google, and it has all these answers to all these questions. And then there's this device called a cellular phone, and you can actually punch in letters and look up stuff on this site called Google, and it gives you all these amazing answers. No, actually, does anybody know who D. Bradley Baker is by any chance? No. Okay, so D. Bradley Baker has been he's so many voices. So many characters. He does a lot of creature effects. He was Perry the Platypus, and yeah, he can sound like a cricket, for crying out loud. Like, who can do that? He's had a very long career. He made a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and it's got every basic standard question you can think of about becoming a voice actor. So that's like my standard go-to thing. I don't think you're gonna have time to ask me any questions. I'm just gonna let them ask all of them.
10 more minutes.
Hello, nice to meet you. I wanted to ask if do you like pizza with pineapple?
Yes. Yes, I do. Too bad. Not pineapple by itself, but yeah, Canadian bacon and pineapple. My wife started eating it, and so I don't get her mad. I'm like, I like it too.
Hi.
Hi.
So I would like to hear your deepest voice.
My deepest voice?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the one I've already been doing for you. My favorite deep voice to do, however, is
Greetings. My name is Optimus Prime.
Thanks.
I am not finished yet. I have heard of Autobots and I have heard of Decepticons, but I have never heard of Pyrkons.
That works really well in Uber rides. They're like, oh!
Hi. So first of all, welcome to Poland.
Thank you.
Second thing is, do you remember having trying to get an audition or trying to get a specific character that you didn't get?
All the time. As most any voice actor would say when they're like, what's your favorite character? Like, all of them. Anything. Like, what would you want to book? All of the things. Like, everything we can. Because that's our bread and butter. That's our career, and that's how we pay the bills. So I would have very much liked to have, I came this close to getting into Gravity Falls. That would have been awesome, because that's such a great show. I know! Jeez! At least we got the comics coming out now. And I tweet Alex Hirsch all the time how much we just loved his show. There is another show coming, though, that's a spinoff of that, so that I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I was up against Nathan Fillion for the part of the dad of the little spoiled brat rich kid, and I was like, how can I be mad at Nathan Fillion? I mean, everybody loves Nathan Fillion. But yeah, I auditioned for that when I auditioned for Transformers Robots in Disguise and didn't get that job. They got Jim Cummings, which again, like, how can I be mad at Jim Cummings? He's Winnie the Pooh, so why would I want to be mad at such an adorable creature? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would love to be in Voltron, though. I did get to audition for Voltron, the new Netflix series. It was a really minor character, and it was like, if I'm going to get in it, I would like to be a main character. But yeah, that's a freaking great show. But now I got my sights set on either Voltron or Troll Hunters. Troll Hunters is freaking awesome if you're not watching Troll Hunters.
Hi.
Hi.
So I've got more, let's say, serious question.
Well, don't you just love it when companies call you right in the middle of your panel? That's great.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's try that again. Go ahead.
Hi. My question is about YouTube in general. Have you been hit by a apocalypse, and how do you see the future of the YouTube content creators?
Yeah, I've been hit too. Yeah. And I've seen friends that have 1 million plus subscribers, and I'm only at 142,000. And of that 142, I maybe get 2,000 views a video. And as soon as I post a video, they automatically demonetize it. They already, I get fake content ID claims, not even legitimate content ID claims. People just saying, no, that's mine, and they just give them the money for it. And I'm like, you didn't even check to see if that guy was legitimate or not. So it's actually made me not want to even make YouTube videos anymore, to be honest. I still am, but I have so much more fun making Instagram stuff. Does anybody follow my Instagram at all? No? One person. See, that's what's wrong. You guys don't even follow me. You only like me for my honest trailer stuff, and that's not even mine. Yeah, Epic Voice Guy on everything. Just follow me. I promise you won't be disappointed. So Instagram's a much smaller venue. Videos can only be up to a minute. You got the Instagram story stuff. I review movies and do reactions. Sometimes ask the characters. I had Deadpool actually reacting to his own stuff on a new app called Stardust, but I don't know if it's available out here yet or not. And then I do a little bit on Facebook, which Facebook, I don't know the future. A lot of YouTubers were thinking that the future of YouTube was going to be Facebook because Facebook was going to monetize. But now with all the data, whatever, the whole scandal with Facebook, now it's just like we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I was hit too. And I found, like I said, I found friends of mine. Jeremy Johns is still getting content ID claims and demonetized stuff, and he's got way, way more subscribers than I do. So it's not just me. Even the big YouTubers are getting hit.
Yeah, so my follow-up question is, I guess, do you see Instagram as a successor of YouTube, or?
Not with the limit on time. I don't think so. I mean, there is a way to go around that. You can actually post multiple videos as one, different, but you'd have to swipe to go to the next part. And with honest trailers, especially, since you're not talking about mine, since nobody here follows me. With honest trailers, the average video is about 5 minutes long, which means you would have to upload 5 pieces of the whole video. So I see that they've been posting a lot to their Facebook pages, and I think that's probably where they're looking for right now because they're getting decent views there, getting 500,000 views. But compared to YouTube, what they got, I don't know. But I don't think, even if the company was bought and sold, I don't think they would just get rid of honest trailers because it's just too popular a brand not to just let it go. They put it somewhere, I'm sure. But as far as my own stuff, Instagram's fine for me. I'm happy with that till something better comes along. Nope, your microphone doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. I believe we have time for 3 to 5 questions.
Oh, only 3 to 5.
Yeah, if the 5 ones would be really, really short, but let's start with 3 questions. Pick people to.
Just pick people. There's somebody standing back in the back right there.
Okay.
I said that one, and then there's 2, 3, 4, 5. This is right in a row. Those 4.
Hi again. I must ask, what do you hate about America?
What do I hate about America? I think it'd be easier to say what I don't hate about America. I mean, we have literally a crazy person as our president. I mean, every day I expect to see on the news President Trump accidentally put his coffee cup on the launch button. I was worried about Bush, but I'm sure George Bush is probably back home like, you thought I was stupid. So, y'all don't know how good you had it. But instead, all we have is this. All right, people, this is huge. I'm the best president ever was, all right? I may have hands that are only this big, but I have a huge brain and a huge heart, okay? All right? Yeah, everything's messed up. I mean, you have people just getting obese like me on McDonald's food and knowing better, but they do it anyway. Yeah, there's so many things wrong. I love my country, but yeah, I can just kind of see it like YouTube revenue. Yeah, just right in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really keep picking opposite. Yeah, just keep pissing opposite ends. I don't know what.
Before you, there was another guy who was doing voiceovers for honest trailers.
His name is Gannon.
Yes, and you guys did a cooperative episode. It was for The Force Awakens, and like when he came back,
and for Last Jedi too.
Yes, yes. And when he came back, did he like want his job from you?
Yeah, actually, I'll try to keep this story short because I know we're almost out of time. I remember seeing him post because he was in the military and he got called into active duty, which is why they had to go find somebody else. I think they may have told him that they were going to find a temporary voice and then bring him back. So he came on Twitter. He's like, "Back in the States, can't wait to get back to Honest Trailers." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, we need to talk." Because it had been like 3 years and I'd done hundreds of them by now and they were pretty much happy with the way things were. But we became friends. He's a nice guy. And he always told me, he's like, when I first heard your voice, I was like, dude, you're like really legit, like nothing compared to what I can do. But yeah, he's a very, very nice guy. Somebody asked him how he did his own version of the movie trailer voice. He said he would drink like 2 sodas right before like Dr. Pepper. I'm like, that's the worst thing you can do right before you record is drink a bunch of like acid and sugar. So yeah, it's no wonder that his voice sounded like this. He might as well just gargled battery acid.
How did you react when you got an invitation to come here? And were you surprised by how many people like you in here?
I'm surprised that anybody likes me, period, to be honest. I mean, look at me. I'm a fat, middle-aged bald guy. I could understand if I had Ryan Reynolds' abs, you know. So, I mean, even my wife loves him more than me. But yeah, no, I'd been invited to a couple of other conventions out of country, but it was usually like right in the middle of the Middle East. I'm like, no. So I was looking at I look at the areas and see if as long as there's not any major wars or anything going on. It's like, as long as nobody's gonna try to kill me while I'm there, because my wife's not usually very good at making pop culture jokes, but right before I left, she texted me, she's like, please don't get kidnapped because I do not have a particular set of skills. So I can see, yeah, right? Because I can see my wife on the phone with the kidnappers going, I don't know who you are. I don't know. If you're looking for money, I can tell you I don't have any. But what I don't have is a very particular set of skills.
Okay, one last question we can afford.
Right there in the middle. The only one with a hand up. Should be easy for you.
Hello.
You're the only guy that follows me on Instagram, right? Oh.
No, that's not.
No, of course not. Of course that's not you.
No, yeah.
Nobody follows me on Instagram. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah. At Epic Voice Guy on social media. All right, I'm gonna keep plugging that until somebody follows.
Yeah. So, is there anyone from voiceover in US who would you like to work with on some project?
So many. I have so many. I don't have time to list everybody. Tara Strong is amazing. Kari Walgren's amazing. Christina Malizia, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker. I mean, geez, he's like the godfather of cartoon voices. I mean, he's been doing Fred in Scooby-Doo since the very beginning, and he's still doing Fred. And now he's also doing Scooby now. So he took over because Don Messick passed away. But yeah, there's so many people and voiceover, and what I love more, because I was telling him this earlier, we're talking about like running into famous people. There was like 3 famous people on the flight over here. Maggie from Walking Dead was on there. Dane Cook, was in Planes. He thought that was funny. And Edward James Olmos from Battlestar Galactica. They're all up front with me. And for me, this is like, that's cool, you know. But if there'd been Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, I'd been like, oh, man, you know, are you pondering what I'm pondering? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to go get an autograph, you know. But yeah, and what's funny to me is like more of them know about me than I even realized. Like some of them are big fans of what I work on too, which is that's amazing. And there's so much more polite and kind to their fans. They're not like, no, I don't want to get a picture with you. Like you'll run into, you know, TV famous people who are just like jerks. But every voice actor I've ever met have always been very kind and very nice and very willing to answer any questions. They're all really awesome. So yeah, I would love to work with. There's at least 50 people I would love to work with. Peter Cullen would be my favorite though, because he still is Optimus Prime and always will be for me. But yeah, he was like the whole reason why I wanted to get into voiceover.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Bailey. And remember, if you use Instagram or Twitter, you can follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Epic Voice Guy. Epic. And thank you to the 3 people who do already follow him on Instagram. Oh, 1. Sorry. Raise your hand if you're going to follow him now.
That's not even everybody.
Come on!
I'm never coming back here.
Thanks again, folks. We're out.